Hi, welcome to episode 275 of If My Daily Podcast, a couple of things, a podcast about things. On today's episode, I'm going to talk about like naming things and the you don't know what you don't know, basically, why it's important to name things and stuff like that. So yeah, let's get into it. As you can probably hear from my voice, I'm not in the best shape. And I actually totally forgot about this podcast today. Like, I was about to go to bed, and then my flatmate is like, "Have you recorded a podcast?" I'm just like, oh, okay. So now we're here. I have something in my notes that I haven't fleshed out, and we're going to flesh it out together here. And the number fun fact to come at the end of the episode. So, when I was younger, I had this skin condition called tinea versicolor, and I didn't know that it was called that until I was in university. I can't remember what year in uni, but I was already in uni when I discovered it. But when I was growing up, it was called all sorts of things. It was called eczema mostly. Most people called it eczema. And I like everybody used to say like, "Oh, you're such a dirty girl, you have eczema," those kinds of things. There was nothing that we did not do. And it's very interesting because my father is a medical practitioner. He has dermatologist friends, but nobody just even thought of the fact that, oh, I should go and see a dermatologist. So we were there. Just I did agbo baths. I don't know, like herbal baths. I used herbal like herbs that were mixed together and boiled to bath. I used so many things like Skinel, all those. I think they're called retinoid creams because that's what people will just say. Oh, if you have eczema, use this. And this went on for a very long time, basically almost my whole adult childhood up until I got into university. And it was when I got into university, I don't even know how I found out about this dermatologist or how I found out that dermatologists were a thing. But I found out somehow, and I went to this dermatologist and they looked at my skin, and within like a couple of minutes I had a diagnosis, and it was simply tinea versicolor. And tinea versicolor is a fungal infection, basically. That's the extent of my dermatological knowledge about it. Whereas eczema is a type of skin inflammation, um, which very different to tinea versicolor, and it's not also caused by not bathing. So I wonder where this misconception came from, because it was the common thing. Like, everybody used to call it eczema. Everybody called it eczema. Everybody used to just talk at me about, I don't know how to say it in English, but it was like obunie, that kind of thing, which is basically like a dirty person, a smelly person, or whatever, because you have eczema. And first of all, I didn't have eczema. Second of all, even if I had eczema, it had absolutely nothing to do with that. So yeah, it was a very weird time, and you know how being a teenager and being a child can be. So it really, really affected like it affected me really a lot, really. And then when I discovered that it was tinea versicolor, the dermatologist prescribed me some cream. I used it for a while. I don't even remember the specifics, but I used it for a while. And it went. I never had it again. I was actually talking to one of my friends who is a skincare expert. Basically, skincare expert is a very, very simplistic way of defining what she does, because my baby went to do master's degree in all these things. So anyway, I was talking to her about my skin, and she was asking about if I've had prior skin conditions, and I said I had tinea versicolor, and she was like, "Oh, has it come up again since then?" I was like, "Nope, it hasn't come up again since then." It's like, that is very strange. I'm very lucky, because most times people, it's like a thing that keeps coming back, because it is a fungal infection. It's like having a yeast infection. Like, you don't really necessarily have to do anything or not do anything to have a yeast infection. Yeah, so I guess that's also where this episode came from, because from that conversation. And the point is that, like, it's really important to, properly name things, properly diagnose things, so that you can actually treat them. If you're trying to treat something, and this is obviously, now I'm no more speaking about like a skin situation, although it could apply to a skin situation. But my point is, it's very important to name things properly, to try to identify what something actually is and to give it the proper name. So you can actually solve the problem, because if you're naming something wrongly, you're going to be solving the wrong problem, right? So yeah, I guess that's it for today. Thank you for listening. Oh yeah, the number facts. So yeah, there are 90 days left in the year, and there are quite a few cool number facts for the number 90. Number 90 is the number of minutes in a football match without counting like extra time and all of those things, just like the actual match itself, 90 minutes. 90 is also the latitude of the North Pole and the South Pole. 90 is the number of degrees in a right angle. I believe that everybody knows these facts that I have mentioned. Like, if you're listening to this podcast, I'll be surprised if you don't know these things. And we're on episode 275. And I found a very interesting number fact that I don't understand what it means, but I really want to say it, so I'm going to say it. 275 is the sum of the co-prime count for the first 29 integers. And then it goes to say it's 270. I don't understand what that means, but it was fun. And so I decided to share it. So there you have it. Number facts. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Bye. Thank you for listening to today's episode of A Couple of Things. If there was anything you found interesting or insightful, or you enjoyed the episode, please do share to someone or multiple people. Like, leave a comment, and definitely do subscribe and all the nice things. Bye.